We could make it out to be a story about how satisfying it would be to win in Calgary, but you guys have bigger fish to fry, obviously, at this stage in the season.
We're looking to win. You know, the fact that it's in Calgary is just, you know, where the schedule brings us at this time. You know, we do have a number of guys that have been here, coaching staff, players, and everything. So, you know, it should be a good game.
What's the mindset been this week, Coach?
I think we've had a good attention, and I think they understand. I think the players understand what's at stake. That, you know, no matter what happens right now, the most important thing is for us to win, because nothing good comes from us not winning.
What's O'Neill's status? How do you feel he is at this point?
You know, he's well enough to play.
Is this a situation where, given what's at stake, he's your best option at this point?
Well, he certainly has been the starting center off and on all year, and he would certainly be the best option. And if we didn't think he would be able to play, we wouldn't play him, I can tell you that.
Would he be playing if it was week 2?
Probably, yeah. In the same situation, personnel-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
You've worked with Henry, obviously, for so many years. Do you see him acting differently towards this game than other games this year?
You know, I haven't, and, you know, I've been asked similar questions several times, and, you know, it's not the first time he's gone back to play at a place where he had played before. And I don't see, you know, having had experience with that, I don't see any difference in pretty much how he's prepared for any game myself. Now, what goes on inside of you, nobody can judge that about, you know, how you're, you know, how the butterflies are fluttering around, and, you know, what your mental makeup is. Only the person themselves can speak to that, but I don't see any difference.
Were you there? I can't remember. You were still here when you went to Regina with him in 2005?
No,
you weren't here.
We went there in 8 and 9.
Right. Okay.
You know,
right.
Or 7, 8, and 9.
So you weren't part of that. Okay.
They hadn't forgot he'd been gone for 5 years.
George, you had Nick Lewis and John Cornish for several years. Do you know how to stop these guys?
Well, you know, they don't let armed weapons into the stadium here. They do a pretty good job of. Now, those guys are good players. John is a good player. He's developed into an outstanding running back. And, you know, Nick's their go-to guy. In a key situation and passing down, they would like to get the ball to Nick. He's physical. You know, if you want to muscle him, he'll muscle with you, and he's hard to tackle. And he has that rare ability to make plays. Some guys are good players, and they don't make plays. Nick makes plays.
You said yesterday that you didn't think that most people around the league gave you a lot of chance to win this game. Have you delivered that message to the team as well? That sort of.
I think they understand what my feelings about that are. Yes.
Sorry, can you just sort of express your feelings?
Yeah, I don't think if you polled around the league, I don't think many people would think we have a chance to win tomorrow.
But you obviously do, and you think your team does?
I think we do. Yes.
What's Markeith mean to your defense?
Markeith has been a solid player for us, and, you know, it's been a while. Somebody pointed out to me, I think it was Drew, that the 3 games he played in that we were 2-1 in, and you know, he's been out since a long time ago. It seems like a different season. So, you know, he brings experience to the position. You know, if you count him as 2 people, he'll be about the 7th guy that started at that spot this year. So he brings experience and what's the right phrase? The ability to make plays, because he's been a successful player at that position.
He also seems to instill confidence in other guys, right? Because he can sort of get guys lined up properly, and they seem to they think they're better with him in there.
I think there's a trust level, that there's an expectation that if you're playing on either end, I don't think the down guys know much difference, but the guys that are in the coverage situation, there's an expectation that he's going to be in the right spot, and they only have to worry about getting themselves in the right spot.
Has Huff caught you in any Tim Hortons drive-thrus since?
No, I don't think we've had any. We exchanged texts about 2:30 in the morning this week, but or 2:30 in the morning out here. So, in fact, I haven't talked to him since about a week ago.
Talk less in weeks.
We don't really talk when we play.
Yeah.